Have you noticed some things different at work lately? It really feels like the whole culture has shifted, right? We've gone from this nonstop hustle, hustle, hustle mindset to one where people are, just drawing a line in the sand. And this isn't about being lazy, it's something much deeper, a real psychological change. So today, we're going to break down what's really going on inside the minds of so-called quiet quitters. I mean, it all starts with this feeling, doesn't it? This question that, let's be honest, has probably crossed all of our minds at some point. You put in the extra time. You take on that project nobody else wants, and what's the prize? Oh, just more work and higher expectations. This one single nagging frustration, well, it's the seed from which this entire phenomenon has sprouted. Okay, so what does quiet quitting actually look like in the wild? Day to day. The signs can be kind of subtle, but once you know what you're looking for, they're impossible to miss.
At its heart, this is it. This is the definition. It's not about slacking off or not doing your job. It's about doing the exact job you were hired for. No more, no less. It's like drawing an invisible boundary that says, my work stops here and the rest of my life begins.
And this comparison just lays it out perfectly. I mean, think about it. Where someone used to jump at the chance to volunteer for a new project, now they're just sticking to the job description. And those instant email replies at 10 p.m., forget about it. Now they wait until 9 a.m. the next day. It's a very conscious decision to pull back that extra effort.
All right, so that's the what. Now for the why. Let's get into the core psychology, because this isn't just some new trend. It's a deep, psychological response to what a lot of people feel is a fundamentally broken bargain between them and their employer.
For decades, right, the deal was pretty clear. Work was fueled by what we call extrinsic motivation, the promise of a raise, a bigger title, a pat on the back. But quiet quitting, it signals this massive pivot. People are starting to prioritize intrinsic motivation. That's the satisfaction you get from the work itself, or, and this is key, finding that satisfaction completely outside of work.
So here's the trigger. This is the moment everything changes. It's when those external rewards, that raise or promotion, just don't show up. When all that extra effort and all those late nights are met with, well, nothing, a deep feeling of injustice kicks in. And the natural human response to being treated unfairly? You pull back. You reduce your effort to match the reward you're actually getting.
Now, here's a really great way to think about this. Picture your energy, your time, your mental health, all as an emotional bank account. For years, a lot of jobs have been making constant withdrawals. More stress, longer hours, endless demands. But they haven't been making any deposits, like recognition, fair pay, or real opportunities. And eventually that account just hits zero. And when that account is totally empty, what do? Well, this is the logical, psychological response. Quiet quitting is basically a defense mechanism. It's about stopping the withdrawals to protect whatever you have left. It's a way to get back some control, to find balance, and to start rebuilding an identity that isn't just project manager or sales associate, but about who you are as a whole person. Look, this feeling of being overworked and underappreciated isn't new, but it absolutely exploded recently, and there's a reason for that. The digital age we live in, it acted like a massive amplifier. It poured fuel on a fire that was already smoldering. First up, we have the comparison trap. Thanks to social media, we are constantly seeing people who seem to have it all figured out, with this amazing work-life balance. You see a friend hiking on a Tuesday or someone in another industry who logs off at 5 p.m. on the dot, and it just magnifies your own feelings of injustice about your workload. And then you've got the biggest culprit of all, the endless office. I'm talking about our phones. Those constant dings from Slack, from email, they've totally erased the line between our work lives and our home lives. This 24/7 connection just sped up the drain on that emotional bank account, making burnout feel like it wasn't a matter of if, but when. And finally, technology did something else. It gave people a place to connect. You've got forums like Reddit, you've got TikTok, where millions of people could anonymously share their stories of burnout. And they all realized, whoa, it's not just me. This created this incredible sense of shared experience, of solidarity. It validated their feelings and even gave the whole movement a name: quiet quitting. So where does all this leave us? What's the real-world impact of this huge shift? Let's look at the actual cost versus the ultimate reward. It really is a double-edged sword.
For individuals, quiet quitting can be an absolutely vital act of self-preservation. It's a way to take back your mental health and build a life outside of your job. But for organizations, it's a massive challenge. When a big chunk of your workforce is only doing the bare minimum, things like innovation and creativity, they really start to slow down.
So, after looking at all of this, the behaviors, the deep psychology, the way technology fan the flames, what's the single most important idea we should walk away with?
This, right here, this is the heart of it. It's a total reevaluation of who we are. The quiet quitting phenomenon is basically a massive collective rejection of the idea that our value as human beings is somehow tied to how much we produce for a company.
So let's make this real for a second. You can apply this right now. Just think of one boundary in your own life, just one that's gotten a little blurry. Maybe it's checking your email after dinner. The challenge is simple. Put that boundary back in place this week. Make a conscious choice to make a deposit in your own emotional bank account.
And that brings us to the big final question to think about. Is this whole thing just a personal coping mechanism for individual burnout? Or is it something way bigger, a quiet, grassroots protest that's actually demanding we rethink the entire relationship between our lives and our jobs? The answer to that, well, it could very well define the future of work.